At the base of beautiful and majestic Mount Fuji, there lies a forest so mysterious and frightening that many people refuse to enter it. The forest is called Aokigahara Forest from the outside. Aokigahara looks peaceful, tall trees stretch high into the sky. The ground is covered with thick moss, and the forest appears calm and silent. But those who know its history say something very different. Many people believe that Aokigahara is one of the most haunted forests in the world. Some visitors say their compass stopped working inside the forest. Others claim they hear whispers even when they are completely alone. And some people say that felt like something was watching them from the shadows. Because once you go deep into the forest, the silence becomes something far more disturbing than noise. It's become unnatural, and that is where our story begins. Aogira is often called the Sea of Trees. This name comes from the way the trees grow so densely that the forest look like an endless green ocean. The trees are so thick that sunlight barely reaches the ground. Inside the forest, everything feels strange. The wind rarely moves the branches. Birds are rarely heard. Even animals avoid the deeper part of the forest. Many visitors say the silence is so intense that it feels like the forest itself is holding its breath. Locals in nearby villages often warn travelers about entering the forest alone. They say the deeper you go, the harder it becomes to find your way back. Not only because the forest is confusing, but because something in the forest doesn't want you to leave. Now we talk about the missing hiker. Several years ago, a young traveler named Daniel arrived in Japan. He loved adventure and exploring mysterious places. While visiting the area around Mount Fuji, they heard about the dark legends surrounding Aokigahara Forest. The first he didn't believe the stories. He thought they were simply myths created to scare tourists. But the more that he heard about the forest, the more curious he became. One evening, while staying at a small inn near the forest, Daniel asked the owner about Aokigahara. The old man became very serious. He looked darkly at Daniel and said quietly, "Many people go into that forest, but not all of them come back." Tanya laughed nervously. Is it really that dangerous? The old man nodded slowly. The forest is not normal. Daniel did not fully understand what the mean, but curiosity is a powerful thing, and curiosity often leads people exactly where they should never go. The next morning, Daniel packed his backpack. He brought a flashlight, water, and camera. He planned to explore the forest for a new horse and record his experience. At the entrance of Aokigahara forest, he noticed something strange. There were several signals placed by local authorities. The sign contained messages encouraging people to reconsider enter the forest. Some signs even displayed phone numbers for help and counseling. Daniel found it strange. Why would a forest need warning signs like that? But he ignored the uneasy feeling in the stomach. He stepped onto the narrow path and walked inside. At first, everything looked normal. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, the air smelled fresh, and the forest seemed calm. But as Daniel walked deeper, the atmosphere slowly began to change. Strange feeling. About 30 minutes, Daniel noticed something unusual. The forest had become completely silent. There were no birds, no insects, no wind, just silent. The deeper he walked, the thicker the trees became, so the path behind his was barely visible. Daniel checked his compass. The needle was spinning slightly. He tapped the compass, thinking it was broken. But the needle continued to move strangely. That was when he heard something. A faint sound. It sounded like someone walking behind him. Daniel quickly turned around, but there was no one there. Just trees. And these trees. He tried to laugh it off. Probably just an animal, he whispered to himself. But deep down he knew the sound did not feel like an animal. Daniel continued walking deeper into the forest. Suddenly he heard something again. This time it was not footsteps, it was a whisper, soft, almost impossible to hear, but it sounded like someone saying his name, Daniel. He froze. His heart began beating faster. He looked around carefully. "Hello," he called out, but no response. The whisper came again, very faint. "Daniel!" Now Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. There was no possible way anyone in the forest knew his name, and yet something had called him. Daniel turned on his flashlight even though it was still daytime. The trees had become so thick that very little sunlight reached the ground. He walked slowly, scanning the forest with the light. Then he saw something, a dark shape moving between the trees. It disappeared quickly. Daniel's breath became heavy. Who's there? He shouted. Still no answer, but he knew one thing for certain: was not alone anymore. Daniel had entered the mysterious Aokigahara forest, thinking it was yet another adventure, but the forest was slowly revealing its darker side, and whatever was watching his from the shadow was getting closer. If you want to see the next part of 2, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. We'll meet the part of Aokigahara forest.